we already know what are the resources for financing for development, right? We have public finance, revenue, we have monetary policy, we also have private capital utilization, digital financing. So what this INFF focus is how we can integrate all those resources into the one framework. I think this is what we really wanted. Sometimes we are utilizing different resources. They are in implementation in silo approach. There is sometimes there is no interconnection. So this strategy mainly focus on how we can. This framework mainly focus on how we can integrate them. How can we make them interconnected? So this is what we wanted to have from this INFF. So first, I think in my understanding, what is the need for the country for development? What is needed actually needed? So what is the financing need for the country? This is, I think, first component of this INFF. What the Nepal, what kind of resources or how much resources the Nepal need for development? This is first, I think, one component of INFF. There should be need assessment. And second, what are the alternatives? How we can mobilize those resources? Revenue, how can we make some reform? Whether it is policy reform or operational reform, how we can better utilize the resources through expenditure management, how we can mobilize debt financing, how we can mobilize development cooperation. I think this is second thing that how can we mobilize the resources. Apart from the traditional public finance resources, we also talk about private financing. We need resources. Our traditional financing is not enough, so we need to mobilize alternative financing, private capital in the development activities. So how can we do that? We are talking about private sector financing. What are the policy reform? What are the regulatory mechanisms we should have to better utilize this private capital in the development financing? There is some innovative ideas nowadays, innovative instruments nowadays through different financial institutions. So how we can utilize those new instruments? How can we de-risk private investment? How can we attract foreign capital into the country? I think this is one area we as Bushra mentioned, public-private partnership. So how we can mobilize those kind of new instrument, new innovative financing into the development activities. I think this should be explained. Strategy or action should be explained in the INFF. And third, what is the flow? How we flow those resources? I think flow is also important. Financing flow. This is another important aspect. And last, I think we need to have a governance issue also in the INFF. So resources there, but why we are not? How we can coherent them? How can interconnect them? There should be some governance issues into the INFF to better coherent the strategies. So therefore, why we need INFF is because we have resources, we are using resources. Bushra is not talking any new thing in understanding. She is talking the very, very simple thing that we are discussing every day. But how we can consolidate them, how can we integrate them, there should not be any overlapping, and we can make some synergy, right? So fragmentation, we should avoid the fragmentation. That's the first thing. We are doing the different activities differently. So how can we make them coherent? So first, we need INFF to avoid this kind of fragmentation of the resources. And second, how can we leverage, for example, private capital? How can we leverage? We all agree that we don't have enough resources from our traditional resources. So how can we leverage the private capital? This is second. We need to have. That's why we need this INFF. Third, as I talk policy coherence. Sometimes we should face some risk, some shocks. So how can we respond those kind of shocks as well? So this is also one of the another component that we talk about climate risk and other risk. So there should be some responding mechanism. If we have this kind of shock, how can we respond? So I think those things also should be mentioned in the INFF. That's what I understand about this INFF. And I think the questions and queries, comments that we receive, I think all are valid, all are good. So I suggest Bushra please go through and also make it some. I think you are still working on the action plan. So we really need to have some concrete action plan. So its strategy and our presentation today is not enough that we discuss today. I think there should be some concrete action plan. How can we do that? What should be done? So this is most important. I think very important. As a question, as different agencies they're asking, it's very comprehensive. How we interconnect those measures. So that's they are asking. So I also really want to have some concrete action plan. This should be done by this way. This should be done by this way. This should be done by this way. Otherwise, I think INFF should not be complete document. So my from today's discussion, so I request you to work more to have concrete action plan. That's only works the real INFF that can guide the whole government, all three levels of government, also some regulators, Nepal Rashtra Bank to SEBON, they are also part of this financing framework. So they should have some regulatory mechanism, different regulatory mechanism. Government itself, and also not government. When I talk about government, there are three levels of government. So I think this is a development co-partners. They are also here, so they also can get some idea from your document. So this kind of comprehensive, but it should be doable. Sometimes we are very ambitious in the document. We are putting all those things that are new, right? Where if you listen some new thing, then we just put in the report. That's not the way. I think it should be very doable. We have UNDP, we are experts, so please make it very doable document, very concrete action plan. That's the government have kind of very handy document. Government even go for implementation very quickly. So that's the document that we are expecting. So I think I suggest you I don't want to respond the questions. All questions are valid. So I request you to collect to go through the questions and also my advice and make it very doable and concrete action plan in the report. That would be very helpful for the government of Nepal. So that's what I wanted to say. Once again, thank you very much. I think this kind of report, you should understand what is Nepal, what's Nepal economy, what is Nepal's history of economy. So I think you had very a lot of effort. So then you made this document. So once again, I really appreciate your effort in shaping this document into this stage. I also extend my sincere thanks to all the participants for your active participation from government, from development cooperation, from private sector, non-government agencies. So I really thank you all, and I especially thank UNDP for supporting us and for having this INFF. If Nepal approve this INFF, so I think we are one of the pioneer country in the world that we have INFF. So thanks to UNDP for joining us today in this new initiative, and thank you all other participants. Thanks to MWF colleagues and also ICCD team for being here today, and that's the today's session. So I would like to over today's meeting. Thank you.